Okay, Richard. So right now, what I'm doing right here is showing you the difference between a traditional vacuum cleaner and the Rainbow. Now, the traditional vacuum cleaner, the Kirby, Dyson, Bissell, just like you have, the Hoover, Dirt Devil, whatnot, they all use dry filters. The Rainbow uses water as a filter. That's the biggest difference. Now, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to put it up here right quick. So I'm going to have... you to kind of feel this. So could I have
feel it now, right now, man.
You know what I mean?
Woo, I can get the way, man. Got the way.
So is it okay if I turn it off?
Hell yeah.
Now does it smell like this all the time?
I guess so. She uses it, I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so it smells like that all the time. So you get that weird feet, Cheetos, burning type of smell right there.
Ooh, it's got an odor.
Now,
I told you to clean that out.
Yeah, well, you know, it's my fault, I guess.
Okay.
well, what the stuff is, now I thought it was just a weird vacuum smell. You know that weird smell you get when you're vacuuming? You know, I'm vacuuming all the time. I get this headache. I was like, man, I got to do this though. I mean, you're cleaning, but what that smell is, the same stuff they use in a lab on a Petri dish. And, well, I totally messed that up. Is the mold, bacteria, and mildew in there. And that's what's happening, is it's growing mold, bacteria, and mildew. Now in a lab on a Petri dish, what they use to make that is they use a warm, a dark, and a moist place. Now your skin, you know, you're shedding dead skin all the time, like we talked about earlier. You're shedding, it gets all in the air, and then it gets out on the floor. You vacuum that up, it gets in the vacuum cleaner. So that's where the moisture comes from. And then it's dark, you store it in the closet, the filters are dark, and then you start vacuuming with it. And after like 5 minutes, you know how you felt that air? That stuff is heating up, and it's cooking the mold, bacteria, and mildew and putting it right back out into your air, which is why it's actually illegal to use a traditional vacuum cleaner in a restaurant.
It's legal?
No, it's illegal.
Oh.
So like when you go, like, have you ever been to a restaurant and you're like, you never see them using when you see them using those little sweeper things?
Yeah, roller.
Yeah, the little rollers. And that's because they can't use it, because if they're putting the mold, bacteria, and mildew in your food, in your kids' food, in your faces, it's definitely not going to be pleasant. It's definitely not healthy for you. You're going to be getting headaches. It's going to be a really rough environment. You're breathing all this stuff in. Now the crazy thing is with us, we're all vacuuming in our houses, right? Now I know I vacuum in my house all the time. And like right here, we're vacuuming in your living room. But right over there is our dining room, basically our family restaurant. And we're cooking here, we eat here. It's putting in your kids' faces, our faces. I mean, we're all breathing this stuff in because all this stuff is putting out in the air. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down to the filter right quick.
Very good.
So here's...
Put your glove on.
So here's some of the filters right here. Now, all the vacuum cleaners, what they do is they have an intake, and then they pick it up, and it gets all in these filters. As you can see, obviously it's collecting a lot of the dust and stuff that we're picking up. And then you got the canister right here. Now, do you see all that stuff in there? Now, you want to smell that? No? Well, the crazy thing is, when we're putting that stuff in there, I mean, I wouldn't put my nose in it. I know you wouldn't put your nose in it. But you know that smell we get when it's coming out of the vacuum cleaner? And just all that stuff just pushing it out? We're basically breathing this stuff in. It's just putting that stuff right back out into our air, and we're breathing this stuff in. Right when that stuff gets in our air, just like in a restaurant, if like, you know, you're eating your steak and a fly lands on your steak, it's like, oh my goodness, I just got some on my steak. And it's like, no, you didn't, but yes, you did, because that fly, when he lands on me, who knows where he's been? He's been in the trash cans, and he lands on your food. It's the same with this. If any of this stuff gets back on your air is polluted. Now, that's all that stuff. Now, here's our filters. The defense that's catching all our stuff, because the vacuum cleaner is our filtration system for our air. That's what it's supposed to be doing, right? It's supposed to be cleaning all the dust out and then getting everything clean. But these filters, they collect it, and obviously it collects a lot of dirt and stuff, but it's not really held on by anything. So what happens is when you turn on the vacuum cleaner, because you have to have air flowing through your vacuum to work, right? Obviously, we felt the air coming out, so it's got to have air coming out, right? So right here is one of our filters, and this is what happens. You get all that dust and stuff just floating out of the thing, and that's just from all the air pushing out on it and all.
Get your rainbow ready, boom. Get your rainbow ready to turn on.
Oh.
That's where you wanna have it off the wheels or so, and that's where you can lift it up and put it on the corner of that box, and then you get the opposite effect once you bang a couple of those out. Now, I would bang two or three or four of them out, and then have that ready so you can show them the difference between these two systems again, and now they're seeing the difference because you turn that light on, and now you put it on power wash, and all that dust from all these banging these filters out is going right into where? The rainbow.
Right into the rainbow.
Okay, so try to hit that part again.
Okay, so this right here, these are the filters, and obviously they collect a lot of dust, but when we turn on our vacuum cleaners, we have air flowing through the filters, and then we bang up against furniture and whatnot, and then you have all this stuff coming out. So all that dust and stuff coming out of the filters, and then we got this filter, the same thing, and then the last line of defense, before we get to the air coming out when we felt it, we have the HEPA filter. Same thing, you have just as much dust that's coming out of that.
The only difference is don't leave the rainbow running the whole time, because then as soon as you do it, it's going to suck it right in. So let it go up into the air, hit all three, make a big cloud of dust around you, and
So
then the
three.
grand finale is to turn the rainbow on.
Okay.
Okay?
Let me hit it again.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this right here, so there's our filters. Now, obviously, they're picking up a lot of dust and stuff because they wouldn't have any of the dust on it. But the crazy thing is when we turn on the vacuum cleaner, we have to have air flowing through it. It pushes through these filters. You bang up against furniture, and this is what happens. All that air pushing through it allows all that dust to come up through it. So there's one of the filters, and same thing with this. We got all that dust coming out of there. And then the last line of defense, which would be this, right before the air comes out into our air that we're breathing in. We have all this dust coming out. Yeah, and that's what we're breathing in. That's what's causing us to feel sick. That's that smell of all the mold bacteria going through the filter. That's all that stuff coming out of the air.
Now, now you can see the difference between these two machines, because obviously the rainbow takes dust out the air, and you can see that your vacuum cleaner is constantly putting dust into the air. Okay, the rainbow makes your house smell. The vacuum makes your house stink, and the rainbow makes your house smell really good. So that's where you plug in a little plug-in on the rainbow to bring your air wash into your vac kill. Air wash into your vac kill. All right, now don't go crazy on the rainbow after you bring it in. Just touch base, boom, boom, and then go back to your vac kill. All right, but it just reminds them like, oh shit, I want that. Okay, in the middle of them not wanting this anymore, because once you show them this stuff, crap coming off these filters, they don't want their vacuum no more. That doesn't make sense to them. So I immediately want to show them the solution, the rainbow. Now put the rainbow back on the ground, get the rainbow out the picture now. Okay, now focus back on your vacuum, the vac kill.
So from here, would I just put all the filters back?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, do you say anything while you're putting the filters back in? A good transition you can use while you're putting them, go ahead and start putting them back in, is if you know the Oprah story where they talk about the salmonella lady pick up chicken fat. That's the story that you want to talk about right now. That gives you something to talk about while you're putting everything back together. Or you can maybe just review some of the stuff that you've already done. You can ask more qualifying questions, okay? Whatever you want to do. But you want to be saying something while you're putting the filters back into the vacuum cleaner, so it's not just dead time, dead space. Okay.
Honey, I told you to clean those filters. Why you ain't clean the filters?
Now this right here, so the filters that I just showed you, there's a crazy story about that. So Oprah, there was this lady that actually had her kids taken away from her because her kids just kept getting salmonella poisoning. And I mean, they didn't know why, but they had to take the kids away because the kids are going to keep getting salmonella poisoning. I mean, there's obviously something going wrong, right? So Oprah, she hired an investigator for the lady. She found out what had happened, and she didn't think anything was wrong, and the mother was devastated. But they sent out the investigators. They're investigating her house, just seeing what she was doing, seeing if she was doing anything wrong. And they found, I mean, she was a rather clean lady, just like any regular mom cleaning the house, all the regular stuff she'd be doing. But they checked her vacuum cleaner, and all the filters I just showed you, what happened was they found that it picked up a few food particles, and the food was actually growing salmonella poisoning on it and putting it out into the air. And that, I mean, it's crazy to think about, and I mean, that's just a possibility because it grows anything in there, mold, bacteria, mildew. It could grow salmonella poisoning, all that stuff put on the air, and you definitely don't want that to be put in your kids' faces, right? All that stuff that you're breathing in, especially you, even if you're breathing in salmonella poisoning, it's definitely not healthy for us, and it's definitely something that could affect our health, which is the big deal, right? We don't want, the main thing we're trying to do is clean our house, and it's basically defeating the purpose by putting all that stuff back out into our air. Now, this right here, so now that I've shown you the filters, the smell that we showed you, now I'm going to show you one thing right here. Now, if I could have you to dim the lights right quick. So if I'm going to have, so Richard, I'm going to have you guys kind of look in this area right here. So you see all that dust that just come out, all that stuff that just escaped out of the vacuum cleaner right there? All that stuff is the mold, bacteria, and mildew, all the stuff that you just picked up earlier in your house. Now, the crazy thing is, I know, obviously, when I walked in, you have cleaned. You're a clean person. You and your wife, you love to clean. I mean, if you didn't clean, I wouldn't be able to get in your house. I mean, there'd be stuff everywhere. But when you're vacuuming the vacuum cleaner, you're going in your room, vacuuming in there, picking up the dirt and stuff. And now, when you're cleaning, you don't want to be relocating that dust, right? Or relocating in the mold, bacteria, and mildew in there. The crazy thing is, we go vacuum in our rooms, vacuum in the living room, putting it out in our kids' room, and what happens, you vacuum in that room, take it in here, and you know that cloud, that big explosion I just showed you? Now, the crazy thing is, about the big explosion, when you take it, and you're vacuuming, you have all the lights on, obviously you're not going to be cleaning in the dark, you're not going to have my light shining on the exhaust right there, you're vacuuming, you have it on now, do you see any of that stuff coming out?
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff just kind of just shooting out? No, you're not, because you're not looking for it, the lights are on, but it's still putting out just as much stuff as I just showed you right there, putting out in your room, your kids' room, the living room, into your kitchen.
Every 10 seconds.
And then every 10 seconds you have this thing running, it's putting out 5,000 different germs in your air.